Hey everybody, it's Gomledex and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today we're going to be playing the Dominaria Arena Open Day 1 event. So this is the most competitive entry-level event on Arena that anybody can get into. You have to have 5,000 gems or 25,000 gold. And for this format, it's going to be best of 1 Dominaria sealed. There is a best of 3 queue if you want to try that instead, but I prefer doing best of 1 day 1 because if we make it to day 2, by getting a 7-win run here, we will then be competing in best of 3 rounds, and if we can get a good win rate in day 2, that is where you have cash money prizes on the line up to $2,500. So we're going to try really hard to make it to day 2 today, just doing the best we can, hopefully opening some sweet stuff, building a nice deck, and seeing if we can't get a 7-win run. So without further ado, let's bust open our packs. Alright, this is a pretty bad sealed pool, I would say. Marwyn the Nurturer is almost completely unplayable. They are going to be a 3-mana 1/1 that taps for green. There are a few elves in this format, but you would need to open a lot of elves in your sealed pool and a lot of things to ramp into for this to do much of anything. Cabal Stronghold is another card that's not going to be good at all in sealed. You need to be very heavy into black, and making a monocolored deck in a sealed format is pretty much an impossibility. Fall of the Thran, another unplayable card. All it does is manipulate the lands on the board, which doesn't affect combat in any way, which is the most important thing to be interacting with in Limited. So this is just blow up all the lands and then slowly bring them back to the board. Not very good in Limited. We have Torgar, which is our second strongest rare. It's a 8-mana 7/6. As an additional cost to cast a spell, you may sacrifice any number of creatures to reduce the cost by 2 mana for each creature sacrificed. And when Torgar enters the battlefield, one target player's life total becomes half their starting life total rounded down. So this is a good way to manipulate life totals without actually having to damage people or gain life. You can have Torgar bring your opponent who's at 20 life, or if they have some lifelink like 24 or something, down to 10. You can also have Torgar help gain you a little bit of life. If you've been getting beaten down, you're down to 5 or 6 or something like that, Torgar can pull you back up to 10 life. So Torgar, pretty flexible, large creature, 7/6 body there, pretty solid card. And then our best rare is Muldrotha the Gravetithe, 3 black, green, and blue for a 6/6, and during each of your turns you may play a land and cast a permanent spell of each permanent type from your graveyard. Now this doesn't require that much deck building to make it great. Just with creatures in general it's already going to be pretty good, but there are a few synergies in the format that are really busted with this card. If you have any good sagas naturally put themselves in the graveyard after chapter 3, and then you can just keep replaying those sagas with Muldrotha. If you have the Blood Tallow Candle, that is an artifact that works as a removal spell. You sacrifice it to give a creature -5/-5, then you can keep replaying that to basically keep replaying removal spells with Muldrotha. A lot of very good things that Muldrotha can do, and we're probably going to try pretty hard to play Muldrotha if we don't have any other like really good uncommons dragging us in any particular direction. So pretty unhappy with the rares in this sealed pool, but the rares are not the whole story of the sealed pool. We're going to take a look at our colorless cards and our multicolored cards now to see if those lead into any direction. We have Icy Manipulator, an S tier uncommon. This card is single-handedly stronger than probably all of our rares. I'm not sure if it's guaranteed stronger than Muldrotha, but this card is ridiculous and it goes into our deck no matter what. This is basically a removal spell that you get to keep moving to the next biggest threat. It's a removal spell you get to use to like lock down their best creature in the early game. And then if they play something bigger and better, you can just start locking that down instead. It plays even better than a removal spell because sometimes you can play it in a way to just make sure you can get lethal damage in by tapping a creature down during their turn, then untapping and tapping a creature down during your turn as well. You can also keep your opponent off a very high mana cost. If you think that they have like a big 6-drop in their hand or something, and none of their creatures matter that much, you can just tap their land during their upkeep so they can't spend the mana from that land on their play for the turn. So Ice Manipulator, super flexible, super powerful card that goes in the deck no matter what. 2 other cards here that go into any deck that we build, the Skittering Surveyors. 3 mana for a 1/2. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic land, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Very good deal. No matter what, you can cast it if you have 3 lands, regardless of what colors you're hitting. And it's a 2-for-1 every time. A 1/2 plus draw a land out of your deck. Help make sure that you hit all the lands you need to get up to your 6 drops like Muldrotha and stuff. And help fix your mana. So Skittering Surveyor, very, very good card. And the next best of these colorless cards, probably the Blood Tallow Candle, but that is not a 100% guarantee because it's pretty slow, pretty inefficient removal. It's a 7 mana investment total to give something -5/-5. Now getting that initial 1 mana out of the way is pretty easy, so basically 6 mana, -5/-5, but that's still not ideal. That is a ton of mana when you compare it to some of the other removal spells in the format, like Eviscerate is 4 mana total to destroy a creature, or Blessed Light is 5 total to exile a creature or enchantment. So Blood Tallow Candle does make the cut when you're really low on removal. Or when you have synergies like Muldrotha. So not going to insta include that card, nor any of these other artifacts. These other ones I'm not going to go into massive detail on. They're all just pretty bad, except for maybe Short Sword if we're incredibly aggressive, but they're definitely not auto-includes. So we're going to shove those in the deck no matter what. We're playing 2 Skittering Surveyor and an Icy Manipulator. And looking at our uncommons, now we have Rona, Disciple of Gix. Rona's a pretty good card here, nice value play. 3 mana for a 2/2. When Rona enters the battlefield, you can exile a historic card from your graveyard, so an artifact, legendary, or saga, and you can cast spells that are exiled with Rona. So if we have a Skittering Surveyor in our graveyard, if we have a saga that's already popped off in our graveyard, we can just get a guaranteed 2-for-1 bit of value with Rona by just recasting something from our grave. And then Rona does have that pretty risky ability where you're exiling the top card of your library, and if you're hitting historic stuff, you're getting to cast that. If you're not, though, you're just permanently exiling whatever you hit. So pretty good little value play there with Rona. And Adeliz the Cinderwind, great for a really aggressive like blue-red wizards deck if we're super lucky in our sealed pool. We have a ton of wizards, a ton of cheap instants and sorceries in blue-red. This could be a great way to go because most sealed decks are relatively slow or mid-range. So if you open up a sealed pool that has a great aggro deck in there, you can really try to get under what everybody else is doing as they're trying to play like big 6 mana plays like Muldrotha and splash in multiple colors, cast stuff like Row from the Ashes and Skittering Surveyor. You can just be like, okay, I'm just going to play 2 mana, 2/1s and 3 mana, 3/3s with haste, and then drop an Adeliz and Lightning Strike you, and you can do some nasty stuff with the Wizard's aggro deck. So we'll keep these in mind as we look through the colors, but at a cursory glance here, there's a lot of good looking stuff to work with the Muldrotha here. Rona works well with Muldrotha. They both care about recasting stuff from grave. They're both historic spells, and we're going to have a lot of artifacts because we'd have double Surveyor, Ice Manipulator, and we would play double Blood Tallow Candle in a Muldrotha deck, so that gives us a lot of synergies with Rona, a lot of historic spells that could end up in our graveyard, so we could run the both of those. So that's pretty cool, but not going to count my chickens before they hatch here. We're going to look at every color and see if anything else looks pretty sweet. We have 3 Serra Angel. Oh my god. What the heck happened with our card distribution here? We have 3 Serra Angel, one of the best uncommons in the format as well. 5 mana for a 4/4 with flying and vigilance. A 4/4 body is pretty dang good at blocking, especially with that flying. So the fact that this has vigilance is huge. The fact that it has flying is obviously huge. Serra Angel's just an incredibly good card that takes over games. We don't have much else in white, honestly. This Fall of the Thran is unplayable. Invoke the Divine is unplayable. It's risky to main deck it. I don't like doing that. Tragic Poet's not going to do much. We don't have any enchantments in here. Or we won't, because I don't think I'm going to play the dubs. Or the Serra Disciple. Charge is not great unless you're going super wide. Double Hearing Grace are not a great trick. Excavation Elephant could be fine with double Surveyor. but not super exciting. We already have a lot of big high mana stuff with triple Sarah Angel. The big thing drawing me to white is triple Sarah Angel. Everything else, Davenant Trapper's good, Call to Cavalry is good, and Aven Sentry is good. Sergeant at Arms is fine, Elephant is fine, but then all of this I would say is very borderline to bad. But yeah, triple Sarah Angel is a very real thing that we need to consider when we factor in what colors we want to play. Just we'll keep in mind that we have triple Sarah Angel in white. Good gravy. Taking a look at blue now. We have a few very, very strong cards in here. A good amount of filler. Rescue's pretty filler. Relic Runner's pretty filler as well. Befuddle's pretty filler, and Deep Freeze is pretty filler. Tolarian Scholar's tremendously filler. Sentinel of the Pearl Trident. Flicker one of your historic permanents, so we could get another Skittering Surveyor trigger. Restart a Saga. Might be worth it. Feels pretty borderline as well, so not a ton of great blue cards, but the ones that we have that are great are really good. We have 2 Cloud Reader Sphinx, 5 mana for a 3/4 flyer that scries 2, and then probably the best blue card we have, Time of Ice. 4 mana to tap a creature down, keep it locked down as long as you control Time of Ice, then you do that again next turn, you tap another creature, and then on the 3rd turn you just put both those creatures that you tap down back into your opponent's hands. This card is nuts. This is better than like a 4 mana sorcery that bounces 2 cards, because the fact that it locks them down so long is pretty brutal. So you lock them down for several turns and end up bouncing them in the end to force your opponent to recast them, re-spend their mana on that stuff. So blue, again, very similar to white. A few really strong cards. We have the 3 just absolute bangers of double Cloud Reader Sphinx and Time of Ice, kind of equivalent to like the triple Sarah Angel we have in white. Then we have a little bit of nonsense like Merfolk Trickster is good, but double blue is a little hard to hit. Then Deep Freeze is not where you want to be with removal, but if you need it, you can. Befuddle doesn't do too much. Weight of Memory is a fine draw spell, and Sentinel's a little bit narrow. And then these are all just bad. So some very good stuff in blue again. No really clear, like just absolute banger color that has everything that we want though. Well, I saw something I liked a lot in black, and that is the fact that black is the first color that I've seen that we actually have a suite of great removal. We have 2 Eviscerate, 4 mana to destroy a creature. We have a Settle the Score, 4 mana to exile a creature, and Vicious Offering, a 2 mana instant to give something -2/-2 that we can sacrifice a creature to kick and give something -5/-5. So I think our black looks really good for the non-creature spells alone. And we're not going to play Divest, we're not going to play the Demonic Vigors, but just these removal spells alone are fantastic, and Dark Bargain is not a horrible draw spell. We could end up running that. Look at our creatures, there's some filler here. I would much rather not play Cabal Paladin because of the 2 toughness on a 4 mana card, where it trades down into 2 mana 2/2s and stuff. Stronghold Confessor can be okay though, 4 mana 3/3 menace, not that bad. Caligo Skinwitch can be pretty great in this sealed format. If you hit that 6 mana later in the game, often your opponent's only going to have a couple cards left over by that time, and you always have the backup plan of at least this is putting a body on the board, even if your opponent has no cards in hand, even if the body's not that big. So I like that card a good bit. Like a Windgrace Acolyte, just a good flyer here. And Torgar, obviously a pretty balmy black card there. So really solid black base if we end up being able to play the blue-black-green Muldrotha deck. That looks pretty sweet. Moving on to red. Couple pretty sweet things about our red. And that is that we have some good burn. We have Shivan Fire, which is the best one. This is very, very good. 1 mana for 2 damage to a creature at instant speed, or 5 mana for 4 damage at instant speed. And then Fire Intervention, which is okay burn as well. And then we just have a good amount of creatures, even if they aren't super great. Like Skirk Prospector probably doesn't make it in, but everything else is like fine at least. Lava Runner, bit iffy. Don't think we're going to have a super high instant sorcery counts. And Fire Elementals are a little filler. But I like the curve of creatures a little better than anything else had. Everything else was pretty low on the creature count in general. So yeah, very average. Nothing, again, jumping out to us here. No bombs. No, just one removal spell. But pretty consistent looking color here in red. And last, but hopefully not least, we'll take a look at green. And if our green is good, we might be able to play the Muldrotha deck. But if not, I might consider like a black-white build here, just for that triple Serra Angel. That does seem very nice. So looking at our green, we have the double Marwyn that don't really do anything. I mean, a 3-mana 1/1 that taps for a green. It does a little bit, but I don't think they're generally worth it. I don't like Gaia's Protector for the same reason I don't like the Cabal Paladin. I just don't like 4-mana 4/2s very much. Sapherd's pretty good. 3 mana for 2/2 and a 1/1. 3 power and toughness for 3 mana spread amongst 2 creatures. Ooze is filler. Elves is solid. Our non-creature spell is that great because we don't have a lot here. I think green is probably going to end up being a support color for the Muldrotha deck. We definitely don't go wide for Wild Onslaught. I mean, I guess we have double Saproling Migration, so maybe. I don't think like combat tricks look great in here. I think these would all just straight up get cut. Green doesn't look great, honestly. I think green's just the kind of color that, like, if we're doing Muldrotha stuff, we definitely play the green. We go for the Grow from the Ashes here. We go for Llanowar Elf, some Saproling Migrations. There's not really a huge reason to play green outside of Muldrotha. Alright, I do want to take a look at the Muldrotha deck at some points. I also want to take a look at a white deck with the Serra Angels. There's a couple ways we could build this. I don't think either of them are going to look great. I don't think there's like one really good deck in this sealed pool. It's definitely a more nebulous one. So if we go like white-black here to run triple Serra Angel, what is the deck gonna look like? Our black is our best color. We have double Memorial to Folly and that great removal. So we have some lands that give us value in the late game. Give us some graveyard recursion. Stuck at 38 cards here. We got to put 2 more in for the white-black deck. It's the creature count 14. Put in some candles. I do have an Excavation Elephant in here, but then I have a lot of removal red. I have 2 Eviscerate, Settlescore, Vicious Offering. It just feels like candles are just worse than all the removal I already have in, and I already have 4 removal spells. I'm gonna play dubs with 14 creatures. Do I end up just running the Cabal Paladin? I do have double Skittering Surveyor. This makes a splash more reasonable than it would normally be. Maybe we splash in Time of Ice, double Cloud Reader here. We go like Esper. These 3 are by far our best blue cards, and they all only require 1 blue mana. So we could run 3 blue cards in our deck and get basically all the value that we can get out of that color. Alright, nothing else in here is great. I mean, tricks are solid. Yeah, there's no other like massive reason to be in blue than those 3, so maybe we go like Esper here. Splash in the blue for those 3. And then I get to cut another card out of here. Seems reasonable to me. splashing blue, I could put Rona in, but I don't want to put too many blue cards in. And we only have like 2 historic cards that we can expect to hit the grave often. The Skittering Surveyors. Like Torgar's not going to hit the grave till really late in the game. I would probably drop the Excavation Elephant here. We've got a lot of 5-drops. And this one's a 7, so it's like really expensive. It's more often a 4 than not. This one's flexible. We can play it as a 2-drop and not be too unhappy. I mean, we have triple Sarah Angel. The curve is awkward. We're not like a good aggro deck, but like, look at the creatures in this sealed pool. We're never going to be a good aggro deck. Unless I play red. That's the only color I can just have like a reasonable curve. But this is like... I'm running a lot of creatures in this sealed pool. Right, the only black and white creatures I'm not running are another 4-drop and a pretty useless 1-drop. I mean, it lets me redo Time of Ice, but if I don't draw it with the Time of Ice, it's really bad. And yeah, these blue creatures are just not splash worthy, nor are they great to run as the core of the deck. It's an awkward sealed pool here. It's just like impossible for us to have too much of an early game. Yeah, I mean, taking a look at the grand scheme of things, when I was looking at every other creature in the sealed pool here, this is probably just about the best creature base that we could make in a deck here, unless I went like 5 colors, which is really greedy off of just 2 Surveyors. Let me drop the Windgrace Acolyte here. Got a lot of 5-mana plays, and these are all better flyers than the Windgrace Acolyte by a little bit. Question is, what do I put in now that I cut that out? Put the Elephant back in at 7 mana with Torgar. Drop the creature count a little lower. We still have basically 15. We have 14 plus a Call to Cavalry. Just don't know what I'm putting in. None of these cards are great. Get a peek at the colorless nonsense again. Put in 1 candle. One candle is probably better than our 6th 5-mana flyer. That seems reasonable to me. I think Rona's better. Again, I don't want to go up to 4 blue cards, and there's just nothing to get back with Rona. We have to be relying on the 4-mana ability, which is really risky. I mean, if I put in Candle and then cut another card to also put in Rona, then there would be a little bit more. There's something that actually puts itself in the grave. That's a historic spell, but deck looks very average. I mean, we make it to 5 mana though. We're putting some ridiculous flyers out. Okay, I think I'm gonna cut 1 island here. We have exactly even white and black cards. But I only have 1 black card that needs double black, and I have 3 that need double white. Oh, I guess I have Torgar, but that's a million mana. Yeah, I think I'm going to cut an island for planes there. So we can hit double white a little more consistently. I'm going to be super, super incredibly mega sad if we make it to 5 mana and don't have double white. So I just want to make that more consistent. With 7 swamps, sometimes I can't cast Settle till later, but I have 2 Eviscerate, Vicious Offering, Ice Manipulator, and Blood Tallow Candle. that I can cast without double black. And when you look at our creature curve, where it's very important to have the correct colors of mana on curve, more white creatures in the early game than black creatures. So we need that white mana earlier. So I like that. And then double island, double surveyor puts us at 4 different cards that we can draw that can hit our blue mana. Puts us at 1 out of 10. 7 cards in the opener, draw 3 cards on average is when we'll hit the blue source. So we'll hit the blue source on average turn 3, turn 4, which is when we need it, Sphinx and Time of Ice. But that's an average, that's not every game. There will be games where it takes quite a bit longer. Maybe I am supposed to still be 7/7/3 here. That puts me up to 5 blue, 5 ways to grab the blue source. And that's 1 out of 8 cards instead of 1 out of 10. That does seem pretty significant to me. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong about the 8th planes here. Although again, it is our splash color. If I move the curve like this, and these are the cards I'm not sure I'm casting, the curve still looks solid. Again, even if we have to wait a chunky amount of time for that blue source. I think I'm going to stick with my gut here. I'm going to go 8/7/2. I feel like this is probably the best build we can do in this sealed pool, but I am going to look at the Muldrotha deck here. I feel like it's just going to look worse, though, because our creature base is going to be a lot weaker. And we'll have pretty much the same amount of removal, which is good, but I think the creatures are just going to be a lot worse in green, blue, black. It's kind of hard to compete with triple Sarah Angel, even if there is a Muldrotha there. So I'm going to go ahead and save this deck real quick so I don't have to rebuild it. And then we're going to go ahead and build the Muldrotha pile. Oops. And that would probably be black, green, splash, blue, similar to how this was black, white, splash, blue. Windgrace Acolyte definitely goes into the Muldrotha build because now the 5-drop slot is more open and self-mill is a lot stronger when you have Muldrotha in the deck. Weight of Memory is actually kind of exciting for that strategy as well, so maybe we would be blue, black, splash, green. We definitely play both Candles and the Rona. Yeah, I mean, green gives us Sap Herd, Grow from the Ashes, Sapperling Migrations, Llanowar Elves. But I kind of like the blue-black splash green a little more, because the self-mill strat going on. One more removal spell with a Deep Freeze in here. Although, I mean, these are our only choices of blue cards, they're just not good. We get a Deep Freeze in, I guess Sentinel makes it in now. So we're going for a pretty historic theme with Rona. Weight of Memory. I mean, we're 1 card away from a whole deck now. Play the Merfolk Trickster. Never casting that thing on turn 2, but turn 4, turn 5. Got that double blue. Yeah. Look at the blue-black splash green, and then we'll look at the black-green splash blue. So let's see. Oh yeah, our creatures are significantly worse here. We're running kind of a random Sentinel. Our removal is a tiny bit better, because now we're running double Candle into Deep Freeze. But it's not better because of quality, it's just better because of quantity. It's not like it's like super efficient removal that we've thrown in here. It's a Deep Freeze and 2 Candles. It's a removal spell that lets our opponent keep a blocker on board, and it's a removal spell that Takes a ton of mana and doesn't kill everything. This deck is even slower, I believe. There's just less going on at 2 and 3 mana. I think there were 2/2 drops in the other deck, so that's the same, but like 3/4 mana. There's less here. Just as much 5 mana nonsense. Less creatures total, down to 12 here. I mean, this is a deck we can choose. It doesn't look significantly worse than the other one, but I still prefer the other one right now. Go for the black-green splash blue now. I'm really unsure if this Wild Onslaught makes the cut. Let's see, or the Ancient Animus. For 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Essentially 13 creatures in here, 3 of which come with 2. The Double Sapling Migration and Sapherd are both 2 creatures off 1 card. Still feels a bit low for Wild Onslaught, a 13 creature deck. A deck that has 13 cards that make creatures, period. Don't know about that. And Ancient Animus, again, our creatures just suck. None of these creatures are great at winning fights until very late game. Yeah, 5 mana minimum. We can start getting 3/4s, so I don't actually think Ancient Animus is great in here. So this would be the green-black splash blue. I think the blue-black deck just looked better than this, but this deck has a little more cheeky plays with Llanowar Elves being able to cheat things out early or Grow from the Ashes getting kicked to really get the mana for Muldroth and Torgar. This deck makes a lot better use of Vicious Offering than any of our other decks that we've built because we actually have 3 different ways to get a 1/1 Sapling to have a really expendable creature out for this card. It's not really required for the Vicious Offering to be good. It's good at 2 mana, -2/2 instant speed. It's not great. Yeah, maybe this is wrong. Maybe this deck we're looking at right now is the best build, but I'm sticking to my Angel, my triple Serra Angel build, and I'm gonna go ahead and make that pretty, and we'll do a deck overview, and it's gonna be what I'm gonna run today. Alright, here we are with the sealed deck we're gonna be playing with today. This is a white-black kind of flyers sort of deck with a blue splash for some pretty sweet stuff, so biggest reason we are in this color trio is triple Serra Angel. All the way from Alpha, the first Magic set ever printed, the 5 mana 4/4 flying Vigilance Beat Stick. This is a huge game ender. It blocks well and attacks well at the same time. Very good evasion, and we're just trying to really leverage our big flyers to close out the game quickly when we hit that mana cost. We also have double Cloud Reader Sphinx off the splash in the sky to try to kill our opponents while setting up our draws with that Scry 2, an Aven Sentry at 4 mana for another flyer to put pressure on, and along with the Serra Angels from Alpha, we also have Icy Manipulator from Alpha, the 4 mana artifact. You can spend 1 mana to tap an artifact, creature, or land. Very busted card that keeps your opponent's biggest threats locked down. It can keep them off of mana if you've got nothing else to do with it. It's just an incredibly good card that can keep you alive for a long time. It can also help you push through for some big points of damage. Ice Manipulator and Serra Angel, incredible cards. Again, all the way from the first Magic set ever printed. So a really cool deck to be playing for Magic's 30th anniversary. Other than that, it is a sealed deck. It is not a draft deck, so there's a lot of filler that doesn't fit perfectly with the strategy. You know, we've got like a Sergeant at Arms here, a little 3 mana 2/3, maybe keep some damage off of us in the early game. If we draw this late game, we also get to kick it, get some extra soldiers. So this is just trying to hold down the fort, keep some damage off of us on the ground while we kill our opponent in the sky. Devinant Trapper here, just kind of a 3-mana 3/2, helps us get aggressive by tapping some opponent's creatures at times as we're casting our artifacts and stuff. Serra Disciple, probably the weakest card in the whole deck, but I wanted to keep the creature count kind of high. 2 mana for a 1/1 flying first strike. Whenever you cast a historic spell, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn, but we don't have a massive amount of those. We've got 4. We've got 5 historic spells, actually 6 when you count the Time of Ice. So not a very consistent beat stick, kind of a 1/1 first strike flyer. Skin, which is really nice, gives us a good creature like the 3-mana 2/3. This one's a 2-mana 1/3, so it just hits the board, blocks all the 2/2s and 1/1s from our opponents, and if we draw it late game, another very good kicker effect, getting our opponent to discard 2 cards. One of the biggest reasons that we're playing black here, as you can see, the core of the deck is a lot of white flyers and some blue flyers, but the big reason we're playing black is it is by far the best color when it comes to removal in our sealed pool. We have Vicious Offering, Settle the Score, Double Eviscerate for removal, so a lot of good interaction in here to keep our opponent's bombs off of our face, and hopefully the deck works out as planned and just get some quick victories, slapping our opponent in the sky. So without further ado, let's head into the gameplay. Alright, here we are on the play in game 1. I will keep this. Not a massive fan of it, but we have turn 3 Surveyor to hit our planes, and then we have all of our colors of mana and a curve starting at turn 3. That is a bit of a slow curve, but our deck is pretty slow in general. We don't really have many 2-mana plays anyway. We just don't have a lot of good 2-mana plays in our sealed pool in general. That was one thing that we definitely noticed looking through the sealed pool. All of our 2-mana plays were like just 1 in a red for a 2/2. They were primarily in red as well, which wasn't a particularly powerful color for us. So we got to accept that we're just kind of a slower deck no matter what we are building here. Now, even if I don't play spells till late in the game, my deck can still be kind of aggressive just by playing big flyers, because even if those big flyers don't come down until turn 5, they can finish an opponent off in like 4 or 5 attacks if we've got a couple of them down. So pretty standard game here. We're just kind of curving out. Opponent's playing their Baloth Gorger. That's fine by me. Don't feel a need to eviscerate that just yet, so I'll just get my Sphinx down, start pressuring them in the sky. If I can afford to Blood Tallow Candle that instead of eviscerating it, I think I will. We're definitely getting rid of the land because I've got a Surveyor anyway, although I'm guessing I'm going to shuffle it from the bottom back to the top anyway. I did that the wrong order. I think I want to get rid of Serra Disciple as well. Next turn I go Surveyor, Blood Tallow Candle. I might be on Eviscerate though, in which case I wouldn't be playing Surveyor and I might need that land. I think I'm cool to just dump both of these. Neither of these are super important. Looking at the layout of our hand, got more card draw in here as well with the Dark Bargain, that feels great. Icy Manipulator, you hate to see it. I would prefer I were the one with the Manipulator down. Well, now we have a Vicious Offering we can use on the Gorger. We just have to sack Surveyor to do it, which is fine. Especially because I've got another one anyway, so I can sack the Summoning Sick one. I think that's what we do here. For the land, we grab a Plains so that we can afford our triple Serra Angel if we draw into them. And then I still have the Candle that I can play out this turn. So that I have the Candle on board with the 6 mana up to just destroy whatever they play next turn. So they'll tap the Sphinx and we'll hit for 5. Yep, here we go. And drop a Candle. If we need removal, we'll Candle whatever they play. If we don't, we can Dark Bargain. See if we can draw into some more threats. They are going to go ahead and eviscerate our Cloud Reader Sphinx. If we flood out a little bit, we do have this Memorial to Folly to bring that back, and we have an additional one. So that might be the line. If I Dark Bargain, I will not have the mana up to crack the Memorial to Folly. So I might just Memorial the Sphinx back to hand here, since I've got a bonus Memorial anyway. Obviously, we can't play the Sphinx this turn, but it's still pretty solid to guarantee that we're drawing a 5-mana 3/4 flyer with Scry 2. It's a guarantee versus a guess with Dark Bargain. Let's get the guaranteed flyer here. We just know that's going to be a super solid play, whereas Dark Bargain could always hit just like land, 2-drop, something like that. Alright, our opponent has Gilded Lotus here, so 1,000,000 mana and a Deathbloom Thalat is going to hit the board. That is a good blocker for our creatures on the ground. They can just Icy Manipulate our Sphinx in the sky every turn. I'm not going to eviscerate that, it'll give them a 1/1 if I do. Although a 1/1 is not big enough to block any of this, maybe it's worth it. So I guess I would rather Candle than eviscerate still. Would get me damage down this turn. I think I would rather just play the flyer here. They only have a blue and 1-up, so if they have a counterspell, it would be Syncopate, which I can afford to pay for. So we can cast the Sphinx while we know that they can't counter it. So I guess I'm not going to kill Thalat. I might in the future. Serra Angel is a great scry to the top here. I'm going to play this land and pass the turn. Although trading a single 2/2 into a Thalat is probably pretty equivalent of trading a Candle or an Eviscerate, so... We get 2 damage in here, turn into a 1/1. Ooh, Fungal Infection. Well, never mind. That plays pretty poorly for me. Good piece of interaction there. Although it doesn't play horribly. Just trade my my 2/2 token into their Fungal Infection. Still traded a card for a card. Although they do get to keep the Sapperling around, so they still have a leftover there. Not a good deal for us, but it wasn't horrible. Alright, so our opponent still has Gilded Lotus to use Icy Manipulator next turn, so we can't hit with the Sphinx. Our 2/2 on the ground's never going to hit either, because it's just going to run into one of their other blockers. So I think we just take this trade. I think we're breaking through on the ground. I think we just need to have 2 flyers on board, so they can only tap one of them. They just tap Serra Angel, that's it. And then obviously we can Candle away the Familiar and guarantee that we're hitting for 3 a turn. So they're on a 3-turn clock. Move to combat. Playing 2 songs at once. Yeah, move to combat, they tap down Sphinx, then I play the bigger creature, and it's not tapped, so they can't attack in. Unless they top deck a combat trick. Alright. Play this. And then they're going to Manipulator down Serra Angel, but the Cloud Reader Sphinx can attack. If any funny business happens, we can Candle the Familiar, otherwise it's just a chump block. Which is pretty okay with us. Alright, tap down Serra Angel, send in Cloud Reader Sphinx. We are going to hit for 3. I have a Dark Bargain here, I'd have 4 mana up afterwards. I do have Aven Sentry, a 4 mana 3/2 flyer, that'd be a pretty great draw here. So I think I'm going to main phase this, rather than holding it as an instant. Well, that's pretty good. Icy Manipulator, settle the score. It is... Nothing on their board I really need to exile right now, so I think I'm just dropping down my own Icy Manipulator, even though I don't have the mana to use it immediately. Pechiova, okay, well that needs to get killed. Unfortunately, they have got the land there to guarantee at least 1 piece of value out of it, so they got a 2-for-1 for it. But we are going to get rid of that. I think I would rather just exile that than even Candle it, just so that we know they can't get it back. Yeah, I still have Eviscerate to destroy something. And Ice Manipulator and Blood Tallow Candle. Alright, so they're going to Icy down the Serra Angel. We're going to exile the Tachiova. They slowed down our clock with the life gain from Tachiova. I'm not a huge fan of that. They have a trick here. We don't have the Blood Tallow Candle mana up. Could just be the chump here, since they see that it's unlikely they get to chump again later. I was going to say, if they do have a trick to kill that, we're just going to crack this Memorial and get it back again. Send in the Llanowar Envoy. Yeah, I guess I don't really have a blocker for that. I should have manipulated that down. Yep, that was loose. Nothing else to do with the manipulator right now. Unless I want to tap both Saprolings to get in for 1 damage. Okay. Actually, I can manipulate their manipulator. I always forget you can do that. Good thing I remembered now, because that'll guarantee lethal here. Remembered just in time to lock in guaranteed lethal. Yep, they scoop them up. Manipulator, the manipulator. Pretty brutal play. So that is going to be 1-0 to start off the Arena Open today. Here we are in game 2. We are on the draw, but I still don't think I can keep this. If I hit any land, I know I can play Trapper, but I need Swamps to cast my removal. I need double Swamp for Settle the Score. I need another Plains for Angel on 5. Feels like a tremendously greedy keep. I'm going to mull this. Sand is not much better. It's a more reasonable keep. We just get rid of Time of Ice here and we can cast all this stuff. It's just a lot of our filler cards. Not in love with how our decks look in this game. We'll see. Alright, drop our own Memorial. Mono black so far from our opponent, and Knight of Malice is very unfortunate for us. If we play any white cards, that's going to be a 3/2 first strike for only 2 mana. Both of these Knights are incredible. Probably the strongest 2 mana plays in the set. When it comes to just beating down with a creature. Not a fan of that. It's also got hexproof from white, but luckily all our removal is black, so hexproof from white doesn't do much against us. It's just the extra power that gets that's a huge problem. They're going to throw a short sword on it as well. Very aggressive deck from our opponent, not a fan of that. Again, our sealed pool incredibly low on 1/2 mana plays, so we're going to have a bad time against aggressive decks regardless of what we build out of this sealed pool. So just beating down with the Knights. Alright, well luckily that looks like all they're beating down with. If I call the Cavalry here, I'm just going to get hit harder because then they're going to start hitting for 4 with first strike. Obviously I can't block it well because it has first strike, so I just kick a Stronghold Confessor, but I could very well just die to a single Knight of Malice here because I don't have any of my removal in hand outside of the Candle, which is my most expensive removal spell in the whole deck. Could cast any of the other removal. Vicious Offering wouldn't quite work. Vicious Offering would have worked if we had that early game before they had the short sword, but -2/-2 is not going to kill that. Oh my god, alright. Cool, cool, cool. I guess we lose. Opponent has a Mega Bomb, and we do not have removal. Yeah, not much to say. That pretty much 100% seals it. I can Dark Bargain, chump 5, 6, 7. Go to 4 life there. If I hit a land off Dark Bargain, play it this turn, I play a land next turn, Candle the Dawnbringer, but then I don't have a creature on board because I just spent all of my mana. So Dark Bargain doesn't even... Dark Bargain still gets us killed in 2 turns. Right, chomp, take 5. Or not even 7, I go to 6. I guess I go to like 2 life if they have absolutely nothing else in their hand. Oh wait, no. I go to 4, I was right initially, because I take 2 extra damage from Dark Bargain. And if I go to 4, then Dark Bargain into land doesn't do it. So we just have to pray for like Eviscerate or Settle the Score, or we're just dead. I need to just trump this knight every turn. Because again, yeah, if I cast Dark Bargain there, I block there, I'm at 9 life, taking 5, I go to 4, and then if I did Dark Bargain into what I needed, which is land into next turn land, I then spend all my mana to Candle Dawnbringer and die to 4 damage from Knight of Malice. Well, I guess it's only... No, it is 4 damage because they have a white permanent. Yeah. Okay. There we go. That was the hope. Oh, I could have triple blocked Knight of Malice. Oh. Right, 4 power, first strike. They can first strike away both of the 2/2s, but then the Knight takes 3. Yeah, shoot. I could have triple blocked Knight of Malice and we'd be in a way better position here. We're on the chump block squad. I forgot about my vigilance. Oh, I'm playing so loose. Yep, Memorial to Lyra. Yep. 2 mana away from getting rid of that. Can chump block it. Alright, I had a minuscule chance this game if I went for the triple block on Knight of Malice. No removal from our opponent here. If they're gonna combat trick me to dead, I'm just gonna die anyway. So I'm just gonna let Sarah Angel stick around here. Because I need to have a blocker for Knight of Malice next turn. If I'm spending all my mana on Blood Tallow Candle, and I didn't hit the land anyway, so we're just dead. But I can enter the chump zone again. Okay. Alright. I mean, obviously I didn't play that out well, but 100% perfect lines that game lose massively. That was a predestined loss there, 1-1 heading into game 3. 2 removal in there too. Minimum. They might have even had that reproach in there the whole time, and they didn't have a reason to use it ever, because every time I got into combat it was a chump block. So it's entirely possible, even if I played that out perfectly and went for that triple block earlier, they would reproach there, and then I would just have died way earlier than I ended up dying. Because I wouldn't have had multiple chump blockers throughout multiple turns anymore. That was just a rough one. Game 3, let's do some stuff this time. Hold on to the Skin Witch unless they play some cards I need to be blocking. A Skin Witch of their own. Alright, I would like to do some blocking. So I'll play the 2/3 here. Alright, 4 mana, let's Dark Bargain. I'm not going to eviscerate the 1/3 on their board. We know we have a Serra Angel next turn, which is beautiful. Icy Manipulator. When the best uncommon in the format is colorless, you are going to play with and against it in a vast majority of sealed events. A vast majority of sealed games, even. So, I mean, here's the Serra Angel that's going to get tapped down every turn, but at least we get to lock down one of their mana. Because now they have to spend a mana to Ice Manipulator every single turn. So, Serra Angel, basically a 5 mana Stone Rain here. Destroy one of their lands, soak up one of their mana. There's a land where else. No, the reverse Stone Rain, they've got the mana right back. Vicious Offering, I can blow up that Elves. Double Eviscerate still left after a Vicious Offering, that might not be horrible. I would like to Skittering Surveyor here because I want to get to the Skin Witch kick. But then I'm not playing an Aven Sentry this turn, which feels not great. Aven Sentry looks pretty great on the board. Alright, that's tapped. Yeah, I mean, I don't... With 5 mana here, they have 6 mana with Llanowar Elves. One of it every turn has to go into Manipulator. How many, like, 7-8 mana cards are there? There's, like, Verdant Force. Don't know if Vicious Offering is incredibly valuable here. Because I can easily do -5/-5 with it, because I have Skittering Surveyor and Skin Witch, which are going to be just tiny creatures on board to sack. Yeah, I'm going to drop down the Aven Sentry. The biggest reason not to is because double spelling is like really nice. Setting up the Skin Witch is good too. But we'll see. Yeah, like they've got enough mana without this Llanowar Elves. They just kicked that Kava and still have Icy Manipulator mana. So yeah, it looks like shooting the Llanowar Elves isn't going to be that important. And we draw another Serra Angel, probably on that this turn. Although killing this Kavu seems important. Keep damage off of us. We'll set up the Skin Witch. If they play only one card next turn, then we might even just set up and do a discard 2 to our opponent next turn. That could be pretty nice. Do this while they're tapped out. They do have 1 mana up thanks to Llanowar Elves, but I don't think they're going to 1 mana trick to save the Kavu. Can't think of any in the format. Baloth Gorger. Alright, that's going to get eviscerated. Oh, they tapped out? They don't have Icy Manipulator mana this turn? That's sweet. Oh my god. We drew the triple Serra Angel. That's so sick. I might chump block Baloth Gorger for 1 turn to rip their hand away. That's probably worth it. Chump the Gorger. Oh, we got rid of a Soul Salvage. I mean, Broken Bonds, whatever, that's... We don't have Icy Manipulator in hand, so that was kind of a dead card. But Soul Salvage, great to get rid of that. Ooh, Time of Ice, now that we got rid of the Broken Bond. That is sick. That is sick. I don't really need to permanently kill the Baloth Gorger when I can just lock it down and then lock another creature down and then put them back to hand. Probably better to just play Serra Angel and go for lethal though. Because now I can chump block Gorger again and then just the Ice Manip 1 card and I kill them. Demon Lord Belzenlock, we can still find lethal through that because we can kill that. What did they draw though? Oh my god, Demon Lord Belzenlock and the Ancient Animus? Beautiful draw for my opponent. That was the double top deck. That is very good. think I'm chumping. Yeah. They have Icy Manipulator mana up, unfortunately, so we don't have lethal anymore because they got the Ancient Animus Demon Lord Bells Unlocked double top deck. Oh, this is such a rough position now. I hit for 3 a turn. They hit for 9 a turn. They kill me in 2 swings. I kill them in... I guess I kill them in 2 swings at 6 life. Yeah, I mean, I've got to get rid of Bells Unlock. Guess it's moderately safer to tap it down for now. Because then I get to tap down Gorger next turn, so they can't kill me in 2 swings. Alright, they get 1 9 damage swing in, but then their next swing's gonna be for 2. So if they find a removal spell here... Nope, they found a land, so we are good. Things got really scary when I saw that Demon Lord Bells Unlock. We had a great start before then, and luckily for us, we had enough action to break through that Bells Unlock too. So 2-1 heading into Game 4. Game 4 on the play, Surveyor for the blue source. We've got every color of mana. We just need a second white to be able to cast every spell in the deck. We also have Icy Manipulator, and the best cards in the entire limited format. Very nice keep. Very nice keep here. Opponent's on red with a turn 1 Lava Runner. Uh-oh, they might be on that very aggressive blue-red Wizards deck. If you open up the sealed pool for it, it can be absolutely devastating. Very good in draft, because you can draft around it. Oh no, they're just black-red. Okay. So maybe just a 1-mana 1/2. But if they cast enough instants and sorceries, that will be a 2/2. For now, Skittering Surveyor theoretically blocks that all day. Does get bigger later, so we'll just say that Skittering Surveyor blocks it in the morning time. Shiv and Fire. Very cool with this, if they want to spend removal on my 1/2. They're less likely to still have removal around for my 3/4 flyer and some other big threats like that. Okay, we're facing a 1/2 and a 3/2 that spits out another card when it dies. Don't really want to play Manipulator right now. 2/3's fine. A trade into Thallid isn't horrible. Keeps Lava Runner off of us as well, even if they play another instant or sorcery. Kind of want to just be mana efficient though and play the Aven Sentry. This also keeps Lava Runner off of us if they don't have instants or sorceries. And now next turn I can either play Sergeant at Arms plus Sarah Disciple, or I can play Cloud Reader Sphinx, or I can play Ice Manipulator plus tap a card. Okay, so they have a cast down as well for more removal. We take 5. We're taking some big hits. I think we're getting to the point where we would really like to try to kick this Sergeant at Arms for multiple blockers. So I kind of want a Cloud Reader Sphinx and Scry 2, and this is also a big enough blocker to block anything they have if they don't have any more removal. So a big enough blocker to stop their attacks if they don't have removal, and it scries to help us get that 6th land to be able to kick the Sergeant at Arms. Plus we've got another removal spell coming. Seems good to me. We'll order it like that. 5th mana from our opponent. That opens them up to being able to cast Fiery Intervention for a 3rd removal spell. There are a lot of other removal spells they can afford. Okay, play a Warcry Phoenix and swing in with everybody. We'll kill the biggest one here. Go down to 9. And we sure are going to kick a Sergeant at Arms here. We are very much on the defensive. I'm not going to attack with Cloud Reader Sphinx right now. Opponent is down to 2 cards in hand. One of them is unfortunately a Gitu Chronicler, which pulls back a removal spell from their graveyard to blow up the Cloud Reader Sphinx next turn. We know they have that removal to get rid of our flyer. So I think I want an Icy Manipulator here, because if I just exile the Warcry Phoenix, they might want to just hold on to Cast Down, because they'll be like, well, if I cast down the flyer, then I'm not getting him with my flyer anyway. I definitely don't want to play Sarah Angel. It's settle the score Icy Manipulator here. I think I'm going to go Icy. I want to see if I can pull this cast down out on the Cloud Reader Sphinx, although I guess worst case scenario, have a Memorial to Folly. We'll just go Icy here. They do have the mana to do the Warcry Phoenix thing if they attack with everybody, but then they have to chump attack. Triple black. Skittering Surveyor, alright. Making sure they have the mana up for everything else they want to do here. They have 2 cards in hand. One is a cast down, one we do not know. Cast down plus like Run Amok or something? Some other 2 mana trick? Goblin Chain Whirler, that explains that. That is brutal. Kill both of my 1/1s and I take a damage to the face, and Sergeant at Arms has been dealt a damage this turn, which means it can't block a 2-power thing, but they don't have a 2-power thing, so it's not horrible. But losing the 1/1s is rough. Obviously tap down the Warcry Phoenix. They can attack with the Chronicler, I guess, and we bounce off each other, or they can get 2 damage in and lose a creature. Okay, Eviscerate is the draw. I do not have the mana to use a removal spell and a Sarah Disciple and use Icy Manipulator, which is what I would really like to do here. I think I need to Eviscerate Chain Whirler. I kind of feel like I have to hold up Cloud Reader Sphinx as a blocker now. Because if I just attack with it, they can cast down Sergeant at Arms and get in for 1,000,000. So I kind of need to force the cast down on Sphinx. Alright, there it is. Ooh, please don't be gas. Alright, it's not a trick at least. We're down to 5. It's a land. It's Memorial to Folly, though. It is Memorial to Folly, though. Alright, now we can drop the Sarah Angel, and we have a threat that can attack and block well. And we still have the Ice Manipulator mana. This is where we try to take over the game. They re-grab Chain Whirler. Damage to everybody. That's fine, right? Re-grab Chain Whirler, cast it. We take 1, we're at 4. We can block 2 things. They can only attack with 3. Yeah, we're fine. Do need them to run out of gas, though. Chain Whirler plus removal spell puts us very close to dead. Eight lands, about halfway through the deck. They're pretty 50-50 on land, non-land here. Or they're like the normal ratio. Slightly more likely to hit non-lands than lands. Not into that. Memorial to Folly, a Lava Runner, so they can get a haste attack in here. Alright. That makes me think they might just have a trick for lethal. And we're going to have a super bad time. Top deck into Run Amok here. Sure looks like it. Run Amok is +3/+3. Block the 1/1 and we still kill it. I go to 1 life though, they probably just cast it over here and I go to 1. I mean, they just cast it on Lava Runner actually. Trample over for 2, I go to 1. Yeah, either way I go to 1 if they have Run Amok. No, okay. Is it the burn spell, 3 damage to face? Cool. Cool! God dang it. That was a brutal game. Opponent had a great aggressive start and just a lot of gas kept coming. Tried our best there. If we hit a few more lands earlier in the game to be able to deploy our cards a little more efficiently, probably could have gotten there, but so close to stable. Nasty top deck from opponent. We are going to be 2-2 heading into game 5. All right, here we are in game 5. Pretty great mana. Turn 2 Disciple, turn 3 Surveyor. Yep, we played a tap land turn 1. Sorry, Blood Tallow Candle. Prefer to grab... Okay, nice. I was going to say I would prefer to grab my second white for any Sarah Angels I could draw into. So hopefully I could just draw into the swamp, and then I did. Our opponent is the same colors as us, white, blue, and black. Banalish Honor Guard into Navigator's Compass. They gain a few life. Assuming they don't have a 4th color of mana, so it probably doesn't really do much else. But 1 mana gain 3. Let's play the swamp here so we have Settle the Score mana up. And pick up the plains and play the plains next turn. I don't want to have like a land revealed to my opponent at all times. So I don't want to end up picking up the plains and then playing a swamp next turn to cast Settle. So I'll just get the swamp out of the way this turn. Okay, Vicious Offering, pretty fine by me. Take another 2, down to 16. Opponent does have their 4th mana, and a Sanctum Spirit is the play. They can discard a card, a historic card specifically from their hand to get that indestructible until end of turn. Exile that, or we can just play an Aven Sentry. I'm not a massive fan of using removal on these things right now. That lifelink can give them a pretty nice pocket, though. Maybe we are just going to settle and keep having Eviscerate and Candle for their other threats. Next turn I can Aven Sentry and get the Candle on board. I probably should have poked them for 1, not really a reason not to do that. I'd much rather trade Trapper into the Honor Guard than Sentry, so I guess I'm playing Trapper this turn. Ooh, double tapped the Banalish Honor Guard. Super locked down. Not really, it still untaps next turn. Removal? blow up my trapper? They sure are eyeballing these cards to blow them up. They are splashing. Oh no, they just need double blue. What do you need for double blue? Blink of an eye? Yeah. Okay. Guessing they're gonna just straight up blow up the trapper then if they bounced the surveyor. That's a solid bounce for me. Maybe they have a counterspell for it or something. Macy Unicorn. Bloodtail Candle. Okay. Still unsure. I don't know why they bounced the Surveyor. Because they definitely can't counter it for 1 mana. I guess they just wanted to trade with my 3/2. But yeah, now I get some extra value off of it, which is nice. I don't have the mana to do that right now. I'm going to play Sentry here and shoot the Unicorn. Just make sure the Unicorn dies first. Play Sentry, they're going to candle my Sentry, but then I still have candle for their next play. And I can Memorial back the Sentry because I'll have plenty of lands. I'm grabbing another off Surveyor. Oh, they can't candle it. They only have 4 mana and they're 3 cards in hand they can't play with? Must be removal, maybe Gideon's Reproach type stuff that only works in combat? No? Okay, I guess I just do not know. Maybe counterspells? Nope, not that either. Maybe they are 5 color. And they need like double green or double red or something? Or it's just a bunch of 5 drops. Okay, 5 drop it is. Eldest Reborn. Goodbye, Aven Sentry. They're going to make me discard a card this turn. Luckily, Skittering Surveyor's just going to put a land in our hand for that. Yep. Grab an extra land to discard. I don't need another blue source, so we'll just discard that. Oh no, I should have grabbed a swamp because the auto tapper went for double black there. Why? Oh my god. Because I was going to Memorial to Folly here. Why would the auto tapper? Okay, alright. It's fine. Sometimes Arena just gets you. That is such a terrible auto tap, though. We have a black spell in hand, a black ability on board, no white or blue cards, and it taps both swamps. Should have been able to cast the Aven Sentry again now. I mean, I guess maybe Auto Tapper's trying to be tricksy for us. And Auto Tapper's like, yeah, your opponent's going to try to Eldest Reborn one of your creatures. And then you're going to Memorial to Folly in response and they're not going to get it back. Maybe Auto Tapper's making sure that we're able to do that if my opponent misplays. I feel like they probably won't, but we'll see. Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O. R.I.P. Eldest Reborn. R.I.P. my friend. That is pretty rough for our opponent. It is very easy to forget about these lands. Urgoros. Okay, I do have double Eviscerate and Candle. Demonic Vigor. Oh, okay, well. Ooh. That's a draw. Better than just playing Angel? Definitely. Because we can't let Urgoros hit us, so we have to just kill it here or Time of Ice it. If it hits us, we're discarding cards at random. That's horrible. Yeah. Time of Ice is the best way to get rid of Urgoros. It's going to lock it down for a couple turns, then put it back in their hand, which gets rid of the Demonic Vigor. And we get to keep our removal spells for stuff that will fully die. Like a Davenant Trapper. Alright. They don't have the mana for Memorial to Glory. They need 4 extra, so Skittering Surveyor can get in again without dying to 1/1s. Next turn we put both their creatures back in their hand, which gets rid of Demonic Vigor permanently, and forces them to spend the turn recasting the Urgoros, which we can then just eviscerate, or Candle. I think we've got this one on lock, if they don't have a Mega Bomb of some kind. And they can double block Surveyor with 2/1/1s now. And it's just as quick of a clock if I don't attack with Surveyor. It's a 3-turn clock. There's the 1/1s. I obviously don't want to spend the Candle to save Surveyor from 2/1/1s, which is why I didn't send the Surveyor in there. I would rather just Candle to be able to kill their creature during their turn and still have all of my mana up for my turn in case I draw another creature to play. Alright, so we know their hand is just Trappers, so we know unless they top deck something, we just kill them in 2 swings here pretty easily. Candle on the Urgoros. Alright. Poke. 1 turn to draw a flyer or a removal spell. I should probably, at this point, I should be holding on to lands in case they draw like a Caligo Skin Witch. That would make us discard both our Eviscerates. It would have to be a pretty specific sequence of draws, though. It would have to be a removal spell to kill Serra Angel and then Caligo Skin Witch, but then we could get hit pretty hard by that, so probably should have kept that land in hand. Looks like it did not matter for us, though, because our opponent just top decks not removal or a flyer. We're going to be 3-2 now as we head into round 6. This is a risky hand. On the play, we have a Call the Cavalry and a Serra Angel if I can hit 2 lands by turn 5. We obviously want to hit a swamp pretty quickly. I'm going to keep this one. It's quite risky, but any 1 land gets us to Call the Cavalry, any 2 get us to Serra Angel, and a swamp makes the hand beautiful. Alright, we're playing off curve, but that's okay. At least we're playing something this early. Opponent has a 2-mana instance. Could have been Syncopate there. Well, they cannot Syncopate the Call the Cavalry, because they are tapped out. Alright, there's the swamp. Beautiful. Love to cast Serra Angel here, but we are worried of that Syncopate, because they had something at instant speed for only 2 mana that they did not want to play there. That they could use when I cast a spell, specifically. Okay, they still have the instant here, so... maybe they have 2 removal spells, or 2 instants in hand. But it was like... I'd cast a Serra Disciple, there were no creatures on board, so it has to be something... they have something in their hand that they can cast that doesn't specifically target a creature, and the only thing I can think of is an instant speed draw spell, which they would have just cast, or a counter spell. So fairly certain I'm supposed to just play around Syncopate here. Yeah, right, like they're holding stuff up there and they're not casting anything still. Discarded Guardians of Koilos. I wish I had the second swamp for Skin Witch, because that would probably prompt the counterspell here. But I guess if I just make it to 7 mana, I could cast Serra Angel. And they can't counter it with Syncopate. Bargain now? I think I just bargained during their turn. Okay, they've hit the 4th mana, but that's still not enough to do what they want. Let's Dark Bargain. Syncopate for 3. Fingers crossed. Okay, I was gonna say, there's no world in which they think this hard and don't have Syncopate. Boop! We got there. They could have removal in hand, though, which boops the Serra Angel, but Memorial to Folly was a great draw if that's the case, so we can get it back later. Okay, they do have the removal. Oh, it exiles. Okay, I guess we can't get it back. Now I can Skinwich them for 2 cards because I have nothing to kill on their board anyway. No creatures in grave for this memorial. Pretty sad. We're running out of gas here, but at least we can rip a couple cards out of their hand, and we know they're both non-lands. So we can try to even the cards out here. Definitely need to hit another creature, some more threats. A little high on lands right now. Just Cloud Raider, Arvad. Oh my god, their hand is loaded. Those are the discards. I don't know why I didn't play the land, but probably okay. Don't worry about it. Maybe I thought they were going to go double black and Skinwich us. Wrath. 1 blue mana up can't stop a Vicious Offering. But I don't need to sack a creature to do it, because any block they make, Vicious Offering wins. Without sacking a creature. Cool. Another Memorial to Folly. If we were going to draw land, that was the best land we could have drawn, so not too unhappy about that. Daring Archaeologist, very good card. Gonna bring back the Guardians of Koilos, and every time they cast a artifact... Oh, Historic Spell, okay, cool. It gets a +1/+1 counter. Alright, now we're getting really unhappy about these draws, but our opponent's at 4 still, so... Can reasonably expect to kill them here. I should have attacked with Skinwich, because if it died I could Memorial it. Black Source. In Bolas's clutches to steal my 1/1 flyer. That's a good draw for after that happens. Yep. No longer feel the need to send a Skinwich in. So I would rather have 2 Memorials to pick up a Serra Angel. Still don't think attacking with Skinwich would be horrible there, though. Because we do have the mana to immediately bring Skinwich back to cast it next turn, and they'd probably just have 2 cards in hand. But opponents at 3 life, it's probably better to try to just have as many ways to keep recasting a Serra Angel as possible. 4 mana, 5 mana, Blessed Light, exile Serra Angel again, 6 mana, 5 mana, 4 mana, 5 mana. Welcome back to Sesame Street, counting with the count. I'm just going to keep speaking a bunch of numbers. Alright, luckily for us, we get to just boop their Serra Disciple, well, our Serra Disciple off this board, and if they don't find removal next turn, we're going to kill them. They did just draw 2 cards, so they've had 3 draws to try to hit another removal spell. Say last turn was another opportunity to attack with Skinwich, but we kind of ran out of time to do that once they played the Mace Unicorn, because if I attack with Skinwich, now they're just going to block with Mace Unicorn, they're going to bounce off each other, and our opponent's going to gain 2, so that's just really bad for us. Dub is also very bad for us, because now they're going to gain 4 to stay alive. But now I can Skinwich them again, I guess, if I keep hitting lands here. That gives me a guaranteed play still. Play a land, play a Guardians of Koilos. Okay, so playing around the Skinwich here. Dumping as much as they can out of their hand. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have enough mana that if I... that I can Memorial to Folly to bring back the Calico Skin Witch and recast it in the same turn. So I could hold up one of my Memorials instead. Just in case I draw something where I don't want to Skin Witch next turn. Could also pick up the Flyer. It's got to be best to just pick up the Skin Witch here, I think, and rip their last card out of hand. Yeah, just hit a land anyway, so I guess that was the play. This is insane. Well, I have a million ways to deal with this Macy Unicorn. If I can deal with that before they can deal with my Sarah Angel, I will kill them. It was just a land in their hand. God dang it. Yep, I've got 2 Eviscerate, Settle the Score, Icy Manipulator. We've also got 2 more Sarah Angels that would win as well. A lot of good draws here. I mean, I might as well stop the bigger amount of damage. Haven Sentry, okay. Still have more than enough mana to crack the Memorial and recast something immediately if I just draw another land and need to play something. This way I can still have it for the Sarah Angel. Yeah, just draw. It's basically just drawing another land. It's gonna make it monumentally unlikely to hit another land after this turn though, which is good. There's only 5 left, 20 cards, 1 out of 4. There's going to be only 4 left now. Four mana to do whatever after I crack that. Got my 1/1 flyer, but it just gets blocked by Haven Sentry. Yeah, we're holding on to Memorial, I think, still. If the Sarah Angel dies, Divination, great card draw here. This is not one of our outs. Opponent doesn't seem to be drawing removal either, at least. But now we're dying pretty quickly. I mean, I just drew a bunch of chump blockers at least, I guess. Yeah, I mean, we had Ice Manipulator, Time of Ice, Eviscerate, Settle the Score, and 2 Sarah Angels. 7 outs this whole game. We had like 6 lands. We had more outs than lands and kept hitting them. And now Blackblade wins the game for opponent. That's so disgusting. What a brutal game. The Lords of the Shuffler look down upon us today. Gotta be 3-3. Opponent gets to go to 16 now. Put them right back to 10, but I forgot we even had a Torgar because we never drew it. That's nowhere near enough. They're just going to gain another 13 next turn. So I could gain 4 instead. At least they don't attack with Archaeologist anymore. This is tremendously brutal because I don't even know what I'm sticking around for at this point now that they have a Blackblade. All of our outs don't work anymore. So at this point we're just waiting for our opponent to kill us. Okay. They have 2 in Bolas's clutches. It's a little better than triple Sarah Angel. And Bolas's clutches is tremendously brutal and limited because it's both your incredible bomb creature and your removal spell on one. It's always a 2-for-1. So it's like having 2 Sarah Angels in terms of value. So disgusting. Yeah, I'm not gonna stop being very unhappy that we lost this game. I'm trying. I'm trying. But there's not gonna be a lot of commentary here. I'm just I'm pretty out of it right now. We got those trying to play competitive Magic emotions going on. Three and 3 it'll be. And that is going to do it for the first attempt at the Dominaria Sealed. Devastating. I think the only game that I played particularly poorly was the game against the very aggressive, I think it was a black-white player. Where they had the Lyra Dawnbringer, so I don't think that we could have won that game even if I played super well, but not super happy about my my lines in that game. Most of the rest of the day, I think I played pretty solidly, and I think the deck was pretty sweet, but some of these draws just lined up horribly. I think this deck could have gone for a 7-win run, but just got kind of brutalized there. 3 and 3. It'll be, and that's going to end the Arena Open Day 1 event at a no reward finish. You basically get absolutely nothing back unless you 7-win, because 2,500 gems is only half your entry fee. 1,000 gems is a slap in the face. And obviously zero gems is absolutely nothing, so The reward schemes of the Arena Opens are always incredibly top-loaded, because that is how they make the money to pay out thousands of dollars in the Arena Open Day 2. So it does feel brutal to get just like a mediocre, just a 3-3 run here, but get absolutely nothing back, just be down 5,000 gems. Super, super rough. I've only got enough gems for one more run if I don't get any gems back out of that one, so that's brutal. I will be doing another run, though. That will be tomorrow's video. Hopefully we can make it to Day 2. I have Day 2'd every other limited arena open this year, and I would like to try quite hard to do it again today. Pretty happy with how I built the deck, how I deck built it. I think I did solid today, just obviously can't be very happy with the results in the end. But I think this is about as sweet a deck as we could have built in our sealed pool. Things just lined up kind of poorly for us. 3 and 3 on the day, but that does not end my Arena Open attempts. I will be back again tomorrow with another attempt at the Arena Open Day 1. That, of course, obviously I'm going to do right now, but I try to upload daily videos onto the channel, so that video will be coming to you all one day after the attempt happens. If that is a success, then you'll also get an Arena Open Day 2 video, which is where the cash prizes are on the line, so I'm hopeful. I'm going to try my best. So that ends the Arena Open Day 1, attempt number 1. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to let the YouTube algorithm know to send you some more of these videos in your recommended feeds. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.